Many years ago, in the ancient city of Benin Kingdom, there lived a man whose name was Chief Edewe. He was very successful, a respected chief, a businessman, and a politician. He owned cars, houses, lands, and had more money than most of the people in his state. But there was one thing he did not have, which was a child. He and his wife, Madame Itonha, had been married for over 20 years, yet no children. They had gone from one pastor to the other, one native doctor to the other, and even different hospitals. Yet nothing changed for them. Every single month, Madame Itoha would cry in her room, lying on the floor, praying and begging God for just one child. Sometimes she would even ask God to give her half child, even if the child was a cripple. She did not mind. Then one day, the miracle happened. She found out that she was pregnant. Everyone in their house was so happy. Madame Itoha was the happiest woman alive. Even Chief Edewe was also very happy. And 9 months later, and they gave birth to a bouncing baby boy who they named Osaze, meaning God has chosen. Osaze was treated like prince from the moment he was born. But no one knew that this child, this gift from God, would one day bring his parents the kind of pain that they never expected. Osaze grew up in so much luxury. I mean, there was money. From when he could crawl, he already had 4 housemaids at his beck and call. They were always watching him. As a matter of fact, if he sneezed, someone would even bring a heater. If he cried, 3 people would rush to help him. If he spilled water, 5 maids would run to clean it while his mother cuddled him. Osaze was a pampered and spoilt baby. Madame Itonha would always proudly say, this boy is my only child though. He did not come here to work or to suffer. He came here to enjoy life. So he must never suffer. Oh. Madame Itonha would say. Madame Itonha personally cooked his food by herself. Of course, she bought him new clothes every single weekend. And she would slap any maid that even dared look at her son the wrong way. If Osaze threw a tantrum, she would kneel beside him and beg him, "Oh, please, my child, what is wrong?" She never wanted to see her son sad. She even stopped her own husband, Chief Edewe, from scolding him or trying to correct him. She would reply and say, "Please, oh, I beg, let me enjoy my child in peace. I waited for 20 years to have this boy. So please, leave this boy alone." Madame Itoha would say proudly. So Osaze grew up with no discipline. Nobody corrected him. Not his father, not the maids, for fear of his mother, Madame Itoha. Osaze did not know how to sweep. He did not even know how to boil water. He could not even carry his school bag. Everything was done for him. And to make matter worse, Osaze did not respect any single person. By primary 4, Osaze had already been suspended 3 times. And for what? Once he had slapped his teacher, the other time he had hit a classmate with a stone, and the other time he had spat on the school security man because he did not open the gate fast enough. Osaze was growing into a spoiled brat. But every time something happened, his mother would rush to the school in her expensive lace, her gold jewelry. She would be shaking and vibrating. "You people should stop disturbing my son, oh. You people should stop disturbing my son. My son is not mad. He will not slap his teacher unless he was provoked. Neither would he hit a classmate with a stone unless he was provoked. My son is not a problem, oh. My son is not the problem. If you people are tired of having my son in your school, just say the word. And to God who made me, by this time in 2 weeks, I will put up a new school. I will erect a new building, a new school. And with the kind of power that my husband has, I will suspend your license and make sure that your school is shut down for good." Madam Itoha would scream angrily at the school authority. So everyone was scared of her. The teachers, because everyone knew that her husband was a powerful man in politics and that she could actually make good her threats. So slowly, everyone just avoided Osaze. The school even stopped punishing him. They just allowed him to misbehave. Anyhow he wanted to misbehave, he should go ahead. And this made Osaze even more stubborn, more rude, and more dangerous. Even his own father at some point gave up. Chief Edewe one day tried to talk to his wife and said, "My dear, this is not how to raise a child. I know, yes, we waited for 20 years for this boy. But the way you are handling this boy will end up being a thorn in your flesh. Oh. This boy will cause you more harm than good. Oh. Our son is becoming a demon in our very eyes. He insults his elders, breaks things, he has no manners. I cannot even believe that he's my child. This is not how to raise a child. Oh. Chief Edewe would say to his wife, looking worried. But Madam Itoha would simply hiss and say, "Oh, so after all the prayers and fasting that I did before I finally got this boy, you think I would allow anyone hurt him or speak to him anyhow? Oh no, I wouldn't allow that. And please, there's nothing wrong with my son. Just let him enjoy, eh? People are just jealous because he came from a wealthy home. Is it the teachers or the mates? Everybody is jealous of him. They wish that they were in his position. So please, don't even come up with that. My son is a good boy. Good boy. Perfect boy." Madam Itoha would reply. And at this point, Chief Edewe gave up. And so, when Osaze got into secondary school, things got worse. By JSS3, he had joined a secret cult and had started smoking weed, threatening teachers, and even bringing girls into the hostel. And even slapped a teacher again. And this time, the teacher resigned. And whenever Osaze was in trouble, he would scream and say, "Do you know who my father is? Eh? Do you know who my father is?" Osaze would scream out proudly, and everyone would just keep quiet and be watching him. So year after year, people kept on complaining, but Madam Itoha would come with money, gifts, or threats to cover it up. She was always moving him from one school to the other. In the city of Benin alone, she had moved him to about 4 different schools. She had even moved him to Lagos and to Abuja, yet nothing worked. And finally, in SS2, Osaze dropped out. And school is not for me. I want to start a business. I want to start a tech business, Osaze said. But yet, he did not do any business. So, okay, take a course in tech. He did not do anything. Instead, he just started living off his parents' money lavishly. And by the time Osaze turned 22, everyone in Benin knew him as the rich bad boy. He was tall, handsome, and always wore gold chains, sweet-smelling perfume, all of that. And all the girls hailed him, calling him Osaze the hot shot. But behind all that look, Osaze was very wicked. He had a very terrible heart. He would harass girls and secretly record them naked. He would slap police officers. He was unstoppable. No one could stop him. He was causing commotion everywhere he went. And whenever he got into trouble, Madam Itoha would quickly go and bail him out. She paid the police, she bribed lawyers, bribed judges, silenced bloggers. She did anything just to protect her precious son. And as she continued doing these things, Osaze felt untouchable. He thought that nothing could ever go wrong for him. But one night, everything changed. Osaze had just finished drinking at a club in GRA. And as he drove home in his white Benz, he saw a young girl, walking in the rain and selling her bananas, minding her business. This girl was poor, but very beautiful. And as soon as Osaze saw her, he slowed down his car and called out to her saying, "Hey, you, come here," Osaze said. But the girl ignored him. And then he got angry, came down and screamed. I said, come here. Do you know who is talking to you? Do you know who I am? I'm talking to you and you're ignoring me. Something wrong with you. Are you mad? Have you lost your senses? Osaze screamed out angrily. But before she could even scream or say anything, he dragged her away by force and then took her into a lonely place and then forced himself on her. This girl cried, begged, screamed, please, please, please don't do this to me. Please, I beg you. You don't understand. Don't. Stop. Stop. She cried. She begged. At some point, she even threatened him that if he did not stop, he was going to regret it for the rest of his life. But Osaze simply laughed and said, regret what? You. You are very lucky that I even touched you. You know how many girls are dying for me? You know how many girls just want to have a taste of me? Do you know who I am? Me, Osaze, rich bad boy. I beg you. And so, by the time he was done, he just flimsily threw 5,000 naira at her and said, take this for your stress. I know that even in 1 week, the profit you make from selling your banana is not even up to 1.5. So here, I've given you about 3 weeks hard work. So take this and shut up and go get drugs and flush out what is in your system. Osaze said to her and then drove off. But the girl simply picked up the money and tore it into pieces and then whispered something that no one expected. She just said, Osaze, you will beg me on your knees for this that you have done to me. For taking away my pride, I will deal with you. And so, 2 weeks after that night, Osaze woke up with a terrible headache. But it was not a normal headache. It felt as if someone was using a hammer inside his head. Boy, 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 it was constant. He even took medicine. Nothing worked. The next day, the pain moved from his head to his chest, then his legs, then his stomach. And by the 4th day, Osaze could not even stand up straight. His whole body was shaking like he was possessed. So they had to rush him to one of the best hospitals in Benin. And after so many tests, the doctors were confused. They stared at his mother and said, this boy is fine. His body is fine. He's not sick. I wonder why he's having all the symptoms. The doctor said. But Madam Itoha shouted at him and said, how can you say that now? Can't you see that he's not feeling fine? Look at him. He's struggling to breathe. His body is burning. He has high fever. What is all this? Madam Itohan said, but there was nothing the doctors could do because medically he was fine. But Madam Itohan was not satisfied. So she took him to Lagos, then to Abuja, to several hospitals. Yet, no solution. All the hospitals said the same thing. There is nothing wrong with this boy medically. Yet, Osaze was getting worse every single day. As a matter of fact, his skin had started peeling. His eyes had turned yellow. His tongue swelled up 1 week and shrank the next. His hair was falling off. He lost his voice. Everything was happening to him at the same time. He could not walk. He could not eat. He could not sleep. He was frustrated. And yet, the doctors kept on saying that medically, there was nothing wrong with him. So Madam Itoha began to panic. And she started going from one prophet to the Alpha to Babalawo to anybody that could help. And in no time, her house was turned into a war zone of prayers, candles, chants, sacrifices. Then one prophet looked at her and said, there is a girl that your son hurts. And that girl is not an ordinary girl. As a matter of fact, she's dedicated to the gods. And he took her virginity. So the gods cursed him. Madam Itohan thought it was a joke. But yet, another native doctor said the same thing and told her that he must find the girl and make peace with her. If not, he would continue to suffer and that he would not die. That he would continue to suffer different sicknesses and pain, but it would not lead to death. Instead, his body will turn into his own prison and his bed will become his grave. And that the only way out of this misery and pain was to marry the girl. The native doctor said to Madame Itoha, "Eh? Marry who? God forbid. How can my only child, my only son, the only heir to the Edewe dynasty, marry some girl that I do not even know about? God forbid, that will not happen." Madame Itoha replied angrily. But as the days went by, Osaze became too weak to walk. He was getting worse. Even to use the toilet, the maids had to assist him. He drooled without control. Even his own father could not bear to look at him. Instead, he just sat in silence and said, Shebi, I warned my wife. I warned you. I warned you about all these things you're doing for our son. You created this monster in him. Now you're going to fix it. You are going to fix it. Because if you had disciplined this boy when he was younger, he would not have turned into a rapist that would rape somebody by the roadside. But you created this monster, so deal with it. Chief Edewe said. So out of desperation, Madame Itoha started searching for the girl who her son had raped. And after many weeks, they finally found her. Her name was Ivie. She lived near Uselu with her grandmother. Her parents had died a long time ago, and she sold bananas to survive. And that night that Osaze attacked her, she had gone out in the rain just to raise money for her grandmother's medicine. So when Madame Itoha located where she lived, she drove to her house and she met Ivie there. And then she said to Ivie, "Please, we need to talk." Madame Itoha said gently, but Ivie replied and said, "I have nothing to say to you. Your son defiled me. Despite all my beg, my pleas, even my threats, he still defiled me." Ivie replied, looking upset. But Madame Itoha continued begging and said, "Please, I know what he did was wrong, but please tamper justice with mercy. My son is dying. My son is dying, and everywhere I go, they told me that you placed a curse on him. Please, what can we do to remove this curse? I cannot lose my only child. I waited for 20 years for him. Please." Madame Itoha said. Then Ivie stared at her and said, "Well, he must marry me. Not because I need him as a husband, but as a lesson to him. And you see, until the gods are satisfied, he will serve me all the rest of his life. He would marry me and become my slave and do as I tell him to do." Ivie said. But when Madame Itoha went back home and told Chief Edewe everything, Chief Edewe refused though. My son cannot marry a girl from the street now, Chief Edewe said. But by the next morning, Osaze had become fully paralyzed and could not move at all. So without wasting time, they quickly rushed to marry her. They paid her bride price, although it was not a wedding, no music, no dancing, no photos, just a quiet ceremony. Then they carried Osaze in a wheelchair to live with Ivie in her small house. And that became the beginning of his second life. Osaze was so sad. He could not believe that him, a whole Osaze, rich bad boy, could leave his mansion and be living in a simple-looking house. But the funny thing was that just after spending a few hours in Ivie's house, he became well. All the traces of his sickness disappeared. And throughout that night, he lay down beside his new wife. He was shocked. He could not sleep. He was scared. He just stayed awake. He was scared that if he shut his eyes, something bad would happen to him. He was just thinking out loud, Osaze, so this is what you have become. God forbid. There must be another way. I must find another way. Osaze thought aloud to himself and then dozed off. By the following morning, by 5 a.m., Ivie woke him up saying, "Get up, go and fetch water. See you, in this house, there are no maids. Oh. You are my maid. After all, if you can carry girls at the club, you can do shayo, dorime, then you are hale and hearty. So get up, go and fetch water for me and clean the whole house." Ivie said to Osaze. Osaze was so scared and did not want to die, so he did as he was told. Osaze became humble. He did all the domestic chores in the house, from fetching water to cooking soup to sweeping to washing plates to even washing her wrappers. And as if that was not enough, Ivie even made him start selling bananas with a tray on his head so that he could understand how she suffered. So Osaze would hawk banana on the road, screaming, "Buy your banana, sweet, sweet banana." Everyone was shocked and laughed at him. Is that not Osaze, the hot, rich, Benin finest boy? The one that likes driving white Benz everywhere. He's now hawking banana on the road. They would say and mock and laugh at him. Osaze was so ashamed of himself. Weeks passed and he continued in his misery. He was always sad. He had even begun to beg Ivie, saying, "Ivie, please now, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't know. I thought nothing would happen to me. I'm sorry for how I forced myself on you. Please forgive me. I promise if you forgive me, if you give me this last chance, I will change. I will never hurt anybody again." Osaze said, pleading with Ivie. But Ivie did not answer. She was bent on breaking him, just like he broke her that night in the rain. Osaze, who used to be the boy that every girl wanted, now was the man that nobody recognized. He had lost a lot of weight, was not looking handsome again. And the worst part of it was that Ivie was dealing with him. She was giving him a new punishment every single day. If Osaze was not washing a large basin full of wrappers, then he was cooking or sweeping. There was no peace for Osaze in Ivie's house. There was no safe place for him. As a matter of fact, he was always sad. He was always crying. He wished that he could turn back the hands of time. He wished that his mother had raised him well, had instilled discipline in him. Now he was suffering the consequences of his poor upbringing. Then one day, his mother, Madam Itoha, came to Ivie's house unannounced. Immediately she walked into the compound and saw her son washing clothes. She broke down in tears. "My God, oh, my only child, see what they have reduced you to. What have they done to you?" Madam Itoha wept. But Osaze was so ashamed that he could not even raise his head. He just simply whispered and said, "Mama, please go home. This is my life now. Do not make things worse for me." Then Madam Itoha turned to Ivie and fell to her knees, begging and crying, saying, "Please, Ivie, I know that what my son did to you is terrible, but he's my only child. Please forgive him. I know that he has learned his lesson by now. I know that he would never, assault a lady. He will never rape a lady. He will never disrespect people anymore. Please forgive him and release him, please." Madam Itoha said, pleading and crying. But Ivie simply stared at her in the eye and said, "Oh, he has not learned anything, no. Just how many weeks? Oh, you want him to return to the world and continue destroying lives? No. Shibi, you don't know how to train a child. No problem. I will help you and train him. By the time I'm done with him, your son will become the perfect gentleman. I would help him become a better man. This one that you raised, you protected him, paid for his evil and all that. And with that, your son has destroyed so many lives. No, his life is not yet destroyed now. I'm just trying to train him. By the time I'm done, I'll let you know. But for now, he's going nowhere." Ivie replied angrily, and Madam Itoha could not even say a word. She knew that everything Ivie said was true. Then she stared at her and then said, Eh, but can at least you people should move into one of our mansions, eh? My son does not deserve to live in this kind of place and run errands like a maid. We have more than 15 maids in our house. I can give you two, to help you do all these things that you're making my son do. My son is not used to this kind of life. You are killing my son. You are punishing him, please. Madame Itoha pleaded with her sadly. But at this point, Ivie screamed out at her and said, You had better leave my house now and never come back. If not, I will make you join him. Ivie replied, and Madame Itoha had no choice than to go back home. And that was the last time that she ever came to Ivie's house. And years passed and things did not change for Osaze. Ivie kept him in bondage, continued to use him as her houseboy. And by this time, Osaze had become so broken. He had become a shadow of himself. He no longer spoke unless he was spoken to. He was now a typical housemaid. He just cooked, washed, and did everything that Ivie instructed him to do. He was sad and broken. And rumor has it that till date, Osaze is still trapped with Ivie and still living with Ivie till date and serving her as a house help. Hi besties! It's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think of Osaze? Do you think that it was his fault that he grew up to be a spoiled brat? Or that of his mother? Or that of his father who just looked aside and allowed his wife train his son anyhow she pleased? And do you think that Osaze deserved to be punished the way he did, to suffer the way he did for so many years? Or do you think that Ivie should have had mercy on him and released him rather than keeping him trapped? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And please, if you love Omalicha, your favorite storyteller, then please click that join button now and become a part of us. Like not just a subscriber, but become a member. Come and see the fun side of Omalicha. Come and know me one-on-one. Come, let me give you all the juiciest gossip. You trust me now. And it comes with a lot of perks. You have exclusive videos, you have exclusive access to me, and a whole lot of other things for just a token. So what are you waiting for? Click on that join button channel right now. I can't wait to see you on the inside. I can't wait to get to know you, your names, your birthdays, and every other thing. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the inside. And it's just for a token of 750 naira, less than $1. Please show me love, and I would so much appreciate that. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please support your homegirl, Omalicha, by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories, bye!